Hello dear friends, welcome to our next interesting session and trending topic, Green Microfinance, where financial empowerment meets environmental stewardship. Microfinance has long been a tool to uplift low-income individuals and communities by offering access to essential financial services. But as environmental challenges become more pressing, a new form of microfinance is emerging. One that integrates financial inclusion with sustainability. Welcome to Green Microfinance, where financial empowerment meets environmental stewardship. But how did this concept emerge and what makes it so impactful? Let's explore it today. Introduction to Green Microfinance. At its heart, Green Microfinance builds on the foundation of traditional microfinance, which provides services like small loans, savings, and insurance to underserved populations. But in Green Microfinance, the focus expands beyond economic empowerment to include environmental sustainability. This approach seeks to achieve two goals: improving the economic well-being of low-income populations and promoting environmentally sustainable practices that reduce degradation and conserve resources. By combining financial access with sustainable solutions, Green Microfinance empowers individuals to improve their livelihoods while contributing to a healthier planet. Imagine a loan that not only helps a farmer purchase seeds but also supports the adoption of water-saving irrigation systems. This is the essence of Green Microfinance, an approach that enables communities to uplift themselves economically while conserving resources and reducing environmental degradation. But how did this innovative concept take shape? Let's look into the origin and evolution of Green Microfinance. The roots of Green Microfinance lie in the global microfinance movement of the late 20th century, with pioneers like Muhammad Yunus and the Grameen Bank in Bangladesh. Microfinance gained recognition for its role in poverty alleviation by offering small collateral-free loans in the unbanked. It created new pathways for economic empowerment. However, as environmental challenges began to affect rural livelihoods, especially for communities dependent on natural resources, the need for a more integrated approach became evident. Policymakers and practitioners realized that addressing environmental issues alongside financial empowerment could yield more sustainable results. This understanding gave rise to Green Microfinance in the early 2000s, combining the strengths of microfinance with eco-friendly initiatives like renewable energy and sustainable agriculture. This evolution marked a significant shift in the microfinance landscape, proving that financial services could simultaneously address economic and ecological concerns. But what specific objectives does this green microfinance seek to achieve? Now let's look into objectives of green microfinance. The core objective of green microfinance are to integrate poverty alleviation with environmental sustainability, ensuring that financial services support eco-friendly initiatives. These include promoting green technologies, supporting sustainable agriculture, and building resilience to climate change. Whether it's financing solar power for homes or supporting sustainable farming practices, green microfinance empowers communities while protecting the environment. Promoting green technologies. Green microfinance focuses on financing clean energy solutions such as solar power, biogas, and wind energy for individuals and small businesses. By providing loans for these technologies, MFIs help poor households reduce their reliance on fossil fuels, mitigate pollution, and cut down on energy costs. These technologies also play a key role in improving public health by reducing exposure in harmful emissions. Supporting sustainable agriculture and resource management. Many green microfinance programs target rural populations that depend heavily on agriculture. By financing sustainable farming practices such as organic farming, agroforestry, and water conservation techniques, green microfinance encourages better management of natural resources while boosting agricultural productivity. Climate adaptation and resilience building. With climate change posing severe threats to vulnerable populations, especially in developing countries, green microfinance plays a critical role in helping these communities adapt. MFIs can offer financial products that support investments in climate resilient infrastructure, disaster preparedness, and crop diversification to protect against erratic weather patterns and natural disasters. These goals come to life through innovative models and approaches that make green microfinance accessible and impactful. Let's delve into how these models work. Now let's look into some of the models and approaches to green microfinance. To achieve these objectives, green microfinance employs several innovative models. One popular approach is the introduction of green loan products, specifically designed for environmentally friendly activities. For example, borrowers can use these loans to invest in renewable energy technologies or adopt sustainable farming methods. However, financing alone is not just enough. Many green microfinance programs also emphasize technical assistance and capacity building. By partnering with NGOs and government agencies, they provide borrowers with the knowledge and skills needed to implement sustainable practices effectively. Another intriguing model is payment for environmental services, PES, where communities are financially rewarded for conservation efforts such as reforestation or protecting water sources. Additionally, climate insurance products help mitigate risk associated with natural disasters, ensuring that borrowers can recover economically when challenges arise. These approaches demonstrate the versatility of green microfinance, offering tailored solutions that address both economic and environmental needs. But what tangible benefits do these efforts bring to individuals and communities? Benefits of green microfinance. Green microfinance offers a multitude of benefits, from improving livelihoods to safeguarding the environment, economic empowerment and environmental protection. Sustainable farming leads to higher yields, protecting both people and ecosystems. By supporting green technologies like clean cook stoves and solar energy, green microfinance also helps reduce emissions and energy costs, improved health and well-being. Green technologies like clean cook stoves drastically reduce indoor air pollution, improving public health. Access to clean water through rainwater harvesting also enhances the well-being of communities. Resilience to climate change. As climate change increasingly impacts vulnerable populations, green microfinance builds resilience. Funding for climate adaptation like crop diversification or even flood resistance infrastructure helps these communities prepare for future challenges. Despite all these advantages, green microfinance is not without its challenges. Now let's examine the obstacles it faces and how they can be addressed. So let's look into the challenges of green microfinance. Green microfinance faces literally several challenges. High initial costs for technologies like solar panels can deter borrowers. And many rural communities lack awareness of sustainable practices. So lack of awareness and institutional capacity. Many potential borrowers are unfamiliar with green technologies. MFIs must combine financial services with education and capacity building to ensure its success. Regulatory barriers and over-indebtedness. Regulatory hurdles and the risk of over-indebtedness also pose obstacles. Borrowers may face financial difficulty if green projects do not yield expected returns, emphasizing the need for robust project evaluation. Despite these challenges, several successful initiatives demonstrate the transformative potential of green microfinance. So now let's look into some of the case studies of green microfinance initiatives. One of the most prominent examples is Grameen Shakti in Bangladesh, a sister organization of Grameen Bank. Since its inception in 1996, it has installed over 1.8 million solar home systems in rural areas, replacing kerosene lamps with clean, renewable energy. Grameen Shakti in Bangladesh, which is a sister organization of Grameen Bank, Grameen Shakti has been a pioneer in promoting renewable energy in rural Bangladesh. Since its inception in 1996, the organization has installed over 1.8 million solar home systems across the country, providing clean energy to households that previously relied on kerosene lamps. The microloans provided by Gramin Shakti have allowed rural families to invest in solar panels, the other renewable technologies, reducing their energy costs and carbon emissions. Eco Micro in Latin America and the Caribbean. Eco Micro, a program funded by the Inter-American Development Bank, aims to help microfinance institutions across Latin America and the Caribbean develop green financial products. The initiative focuses on financing climate adaptation, renewable energy, and energy efficiency projects. For example, in Bolivia, the program has provided loans to small farmers to invest in climate resilient agriculture and water management systems. Oiko Credit. Oiko Credit is a global cooperative that finances microfinance institutions and social enterprises. One of its main focuses is supporting renewable energy projects in the developing countries. Oiko Credit has provided funding for solar power projects in sub-Saharan Africa, Southeast Asia, and even in Latin America, enabling communities to access clean energy and reduce their environmental impact. Now let's look into the future prospects and innovations in green microfinance. Looking ahead, digital platforms and mobile banking will transform green microfinance. Mobile apps can provide real-time data on weather patterns, market prices, and farming techniques, making it easier for farmers to make informed decisions. Blended finance and carbon finance. Blended finance, combining public and private funding, can help scale green initiatives. Carbon finance, which generates revenue from reducing greenhouse gas emissions, offers another avenue for funding sustainable projects. Sustainable supply chain financing. Moreover, green finance is increasingly aligning with global supply chain demands for sustainable products. Loans for certifications such as organic farming or sustainable fishing help small producers access international markets while meeting environmental goals. These innovations point to a future where green microfinance becomes even more accessible and impactful, paving the way for a more equitable and sustainable world. So, to summarize, green microfinance stands at the intersection of financial empowerment and environmental stewardship, addressing two of the most pressing challenges of our times. By integrating sustainable practices with financial services, it creates opportunities for low-income communities to thrive while protecting the planet. While challenges remain, ongoing innovation and collaboration hold the key to unlocking the full potential of green microfinance. Together, we can build a greener and more equitable future. One loan, one project, and one community at a time. Thank you all for joining me in exploring this powerful intersection of finance and sustainability. Let's continue to think, act, and innovate for a world that both prosperous and sustainable. See you in our next session. Thank you.